Hi FlossTube, this is Barb with Lost and Floss. This is video number 58 and today is Wednesday, April 14th maybe? Yeah, it is the 14th, 2021. This is a channel primarily about cross stitch and sometimes rambling, little rambling. That's why I had my second take ready, because I started telling you all about how you could see the baby gate in the background. Then I'm like, why don't I just put it down? Anyways, I've got lots to show you, and as well as announcing who the lucky 6 winners are for the 6,000 subscriber give back. So let's get started. To begin with, before I forget to show you, I was going to show you this last video and then I forgot to tack a picture on, but I showed my bulb, which I have the chart here. I don't have the picture, the object itself, but with my bulb finish, I use this fabric as backing, and I was going to include a picture of the original. So I just want to make the point that the colors in the stitch are really muted, and so I didn't want to go with anything that was too bright and bold. So what I did was I had some leftover coffee in my cup, and I just put it to soak for, I don't know, maybe a minute or two, not very long, and took it out, wrung it out, rinsed it out, and you can see the difference. I mean, it's stunning what the difference is between the two. The point I just wanted to make, I guess, is that you want to match the boldness of your fabric, or lack of boldness, the vintagey colors, to the colors you use for your floss. So sometimes you might not have the right color, but just by taking an existing fabric that you have, what I usually do is just cut off a little piece to begin with, and then we'll drop it in coffee and see what color I get. You know, it's not always a success, so sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But we have 6 winners, so the same rules are going to apply to all. You have until my next video to get in touch with me with your address so I can get these charts mailed out to you. If I don't hear from you by my next video, which is usually at least 2 weeks from now, what I'll do is probably put something on Instagram and open it up to others to try for a new winner. And last time that worked really well, so I'm hoping we don't have to go that route. It's only happened to me once that I haven't had someone respond with their address, but just in case, I won't do second call on the videos. I like to get the charts out in a timely manner, and so that's how we're going to handle it. But anyways, you can either send me your address one of 2 ways, via Instagram at LostandFloss2, or else via email, which I'll put up here, LostandFloss2, the number 2, at gmail.com. So I hope to hear from all of you. And let's start out by letting you know who won bulb. It's Shelly Bean, B-E-A-N. So Shelly, if you could get in touch with me with your address, that would be great. All right, and I had some stitchy kindness come my way. This comes from Diana. It is Kismet Stitches. It's this brown bunny chart. Brown bunny run. Erica Michaels. I saw hers and she was so kind as to be giving the chart away to someone, and I was the lucky recipient. And she sent me a nice little note and ooh, some floss. I knew I had it somewhere. Classic Color Works House Wine. So really pretty pink that I'm sure I'll be able to make good use of. So thank you so much, Diana. It's fun to get those things. Alrighty, so what else do we have going on? I have a lot of things in progress, so let's get started. Rosalie, I think that's right, was so kind as to gift me with this Spring Fling, Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. And so I got a little bit of a start on it this year. I'm using Weeks Dye Works blush, which I then quickly dipped in wine per Brenda's directions. I had someone had given me that was like raspberry chocolate. It smelled so good. So it just gave it a deeper, rosier tone, not quite so pinky. So I really like that. I didn't get as far as I would have liked this year, but mostly because I was out of Anchor White, which I've gone to as my new white. I really like the coverage of it and the feel of it, and so anytime I order from somewhere that has the Anchor floss, I throw in a skein or two of that. But yeah, it's a fun little stitch. Well, not so little. There's a lot of coverage on that bunny, but I know I'll have it done for next year. Just so cute. So I think I'm going to probably put that one away so I can concentrate on some of my other stuff. So I'm stitching Santa's Flight Stocking. It's a Dimensions Gold kit for grandson number, well, he's my third grandson, but grandchild number 4. And I've gone to a new system for me of making working copies and really being good about marking off. And it's amazing. Like, I'll pick it up and I'm like, oh, I know what I've done and what I have to do. So I've got a nice start on him. The other thing I've learned is I have to start with a face. When it's such a big project. I think last time I tried to start with background and it was blue, various shades of blue and a lantern, and it just got so boring to me that I will never do it that way again. So I figured out where the center was and counted down or up to put Santa's face in, and I'm having much more fun stitching it that way. Let's see here. Oh, I've got a little start on this one, but I don't think I showed it last time. I'm doing the Prairie Schooler monthly series. This one's March. And I'm going to put this away now because I have May that I have started, so I'll go back to working on that. But I've got a nice little start. I'm missing some of the colors, and so I'm just doing all called for colors and stitching on Lugana. But I am missing some of the colors, otherwise I would have filled in the house before I started with the wind, but I always seem to forget to look for the colors. I finally just put a note in my phone so that next time I'm at a store that has floss, I'll be able to just pick that up. I've got a nice start on Little House Needleworks America. This is one I've seen so many people stitch it already, and I thought it was going to be really quick because it doesn't have all that many colors, but it's taking me forever with the house. And the other thing, I'm using the call for colors, but my windows, like the framing around the windows, don't stand out on that shaded color like I think they should. So I might end up just taking that out and going a shade or two darker, just because I don't really think you can see the difference in mine. But anyways, I hope to have that done for this year for 4th of July. Okay, so we have Nest. This is Leanne's chart by Brenda Gervais. And the lucky recipient of that one is Elizabeth Setzler, Setzler, Betsy in Maryland. So Betsy, if you can please send me your address, I will get that in the mail to you. All right, we have more whips. Keep things straight here. This is one that I had worked on, almost had it done last year. Erica Michaels, Sweet Freedom Berry. I've never done a strawberry before, and this is my first stitch on 40 count, which 2/2 I can handle, but the writing is 1/1, or wait, not 2/2, it's 1/2, but the writing is 1/1, and oh, yeah. I was almost thinking of not putting in, I forget what the it's Sweetland and then of Liberty is what I have left to do. But then I thought, oh, it really needs something on that side to balance it. I ended up, I think the door was maple syrup, and I thought that looked kind of blah, so I made my door gold. I hope that looks okay. Not so sure on it yet, but time will tell. Okay, let's see who won the Welcome Aplenty. This is a Homespun Elegance chart. Really cute. And this too was donated by a viewer, Rosie, so thanks again, Rosie. And the person who ended up with that one is Mary Beth Ringland, Ringland. So Mary Beth, please send me your address and I will get that chart to you. Now these are ones that I haven't, well, no, I have shown. I don't know where I put the chart for this, but this is Winter Rose Manor. And this is stitched on 36 count Winter Brew. At first I was thinking the house didn't show up enough, but I think you can see it. But I ran out of the house color conch, I think it is. And I think on the chart itself, the very edge has like stitching an X, or maybe it's on the corner of the house here, where, like in this area, wait, well, between these two windows, has a row of like a stitch that goes over, an X that goes over 4 normal stitches, and it kind of defines that corner. And so I think with mine, if I can't see that outside edge visibly enough, I might do that on the sides too, but we'll see when I get to that point. But in the meantime, time. I have to get some more of the house color, which is really disappointing. I'm sure, because I had 2 skeins and I'm working 1/2, so I betcha like I lost some of it. But that's where, you know, not having an L&S is really a pain. I mean, the shops that I call to order things are really good about getting it out quickly, but sometimes you just would like to drive there and pick it up, but that's not how it works around here. So next we have ink circles after the roses. I'm doing a stitch along that I'll put the hashtag up here with Kathy from Thy House. And this one just, I couldn't love it more. Every time I see it, you know, like some things you love when you first see them, and then after a while it's like, but this one just, I love it more every time I see it, I think. And I've got a pretty, come along pretty well on this one. So definitely over half done. I'm doing both sides at once. I started with 1/4 and then finished the top, and then now that I'm working downward, I'm doing both sides at once. So hopefully I'll get it finished sooner rather than later. And I'm so glad when I see Kathy posting things that aren't this, because I don't want to be done like 3 months after her, but that'll probably happen anyways. But I love how that's coming along, and I can't wait to get that finished. And then this one, Broderie à Paris from Sue Hillis Designs. I bought this when I was at StitchCon 2 years ago at Keepsakes, and I love it. Getting really close to the end. So I've got a couple mistakes that I made, and I don't think I'm going to change them. This wording is 1 row too far up, so I thought, I mean, I still think you can read the words, and they're in French, so maybe not everybody knows what they are anyways. But I thought I might put 1 more row of red in just to compensate for that. And then I was supposed to leave the white box on the corner open to put my initials in. Well, my initials won't fit anyways, because if you have W for a last name, it takes up a lot of real estate. So I think what I might do, instead of ripping that out, is just go over it. They supply that that scrolly script, and so I might just go over the white with the red scrolly script with my initials, and then for sure I'll be able to fit them in. So I think that's a good solution. That way I won't have to frog anything, and hopefully it'll look okay. But I love this one. I'm using Cranberry Belle Soie, and it's just been really fun to work on. It seems like now that I'm getting close to the end, it just goes faster and faster, and it's one of those things that I don't really want to put down. Okay, so let's see who the recipient of Springhouse Trio is. By Waxy Moon Designs. And the person this goes to is Margot Egan. So Margot, if you can please send me your address, I'd appreciate it. Okay, so let's see. So that's the end of my whips. I had a couple finishes. I was stitching from Jelly Bean Jubilee, the Brenda Gervais Easter book. And I got 3 of the designs done. I haven't trimmed the wording or the little bow on the balloon yet because I want to wax it first before I do that, so it's extra long, but I'll be cutting that off. I used pretty much the called for colors. I was going to use something different, and then the colors were just not showing up like I had hoped, and so I used an overdye for the Easter part, which was like tropical ocean or something. It has some nice variegation to it, but then the rest are just the DMCs. I started, the first design I was going to use more pastel-y because I don't know, they just look kind of bright, but I didn't know that showed up enough. So then I just went back to the called for colors, which I think are really cute. So I have this one done, the tulip one, and I'll probably just use that other sample tulip if I have enough fabric. I'll just cut it out, make a little pin pillow. And then the other one I have done is the little guy on the egg. These really were pretty fun to stitch. I think I might have changed 1 or 2 of the colors, but pretty much the same. So, you know, I don't like to waste fabric. So, like, my margin there is not very big. So I think what I'm going to do is back it with SF101 before I even cut them apart. But it should give me enough to have the seam allowance I want. And that way I'm hoping I can at least get a couple more out of my fabric. You can just see how big it is. So I was gonna like mathematically figure out everything, and then I'm like, I'll just stitch as many as I can. Although I've seen some people who have dyed fabric for some of them, and that's really cute too, so maybe I'll stitch some on some other color fabric to mix in, make it a little more interesting. This is it's Navy Bean, Lakeside Navy Bean 36 count. It's the first time I've used it, but I really like it. Really a nice neutral. Okay, now we're going to announce who is getting Harrietta. So this chart goes to Jack N. Spratt. So JACKNSPRAT. So if you can please send me your address, that would be wonderful. Okay, so last video I really forgot to show I forgot to show one of the Waxy Moon Spring Trio houses. And I think this was my favorite one, so I'm sorry that I forgot to hold it up. But I used my mom's old Valance fabric from ages ago. And then this is like vintage rickrack trim. I have this whole box. I don't know if it belonged to... I got it, I think, from my mom, and maybe some of it was my grandma's, but you can see how, like, maybe they were recycling some clothing, and the rickrack had stitching on it, so I'm sure they had pulled it off. Some garment, maybe that got a hole in it, or whatever. I mean, as a kid, I remember my grandma and grandpa making rag rugs out of old clothing, and recently my niece, one of her COVID projects was teaching herself how to make a rag rug, so it was kind of fun to see some of those things that are coming back that used to be skills that people had, and you know, good way to recycle and reuse. Speaking of which, this little pillow started out as something that I got at Goodwill, and it was framed in like a honey oak little frame that so many of the things from this era were, and it made me sad to see it there, but I thought, oh, I really wanted something different, and it's so bright and cheery, so I made it into a little pillow and used this cute Easter fabric that I had left from another project and covered my opening with egg shape, just with some extra hand stitching on it, but I thought it really is cute, and not my stitching, but a good way to save the stitches, so kind of fun. Little House Needleworks Spring ABCs. This actually was gifted to me by Jackie of Cross My Stitches, and she said I could pass it along, and so the person who ended up with this one is Kimber Smith. Smith, just like it sounds. So once again, you guys can either message me via Instagram at Lost and Floss 2 account, or else email at lostandfloss2@gmail.com. So I hope to hear from you by the next video. Otherwise, I'm going to move on. So let's see. Before I show my final things, I just wanted to share with you. I went to Goodwill. You know how excited that makes me. So, and I found a couple things that I thought were fun. So, this Mercury, I think it's, I don't know if it's supposed to be pumpkin, but it looks pumpkin shaped to me, but won't that be cute with like a little rounded top stitched? I think it was perfect. So, that was $1.99, and I think I had, I had a credit, $5 credit, which I was thrilled, because I'm like, and then a couple other little things. For $1, I got this cute little box. I was thinking I would put stitching on it, but I'm like, it might just be cute as a backdrop, or I could put stitching on the cover or the base. Not sure. We'll see what the need is. And then this little thing, like, I don't know why it has green swirls on it, but I plan to paint it. And wouldn't that be cute, like with some patriotic stuff sticking out of it? So I like that. And this, I'm not even sure what I'm gonna do with, but I thought it was kind of fun. It's just this wood box with like, not leather, but it's got a handle. I wonder, I really don't know what this is from. It says Weiler, Switzerland. And it's got like little cookie things. And just your standard empty wooden box. So I was thinking, I mean, you could either do something on the inside or on the top. Not really sure, but that'll be fun. Whatever I decide to do. And then I found this sampler collection book. I don't know what year this is from. Let's see. 1989. So pretty old. But there's like little motifs that I think are really kind of pretty. Let's see. Or this, I mean, look how pretty this is. I think this is pretty. Or else just a, you know, a little pin pillow with the basket of, I think it's apples. Let's see, there were some other things. This is kind of funny. I don't think it's anything that I would necessarily do. People can sometimes be very funny in stitching. But this I thought was cute. Like, just a little man in the moon. Instead of doing it like that, maybe doing it as a full circle with stars going all the way around. I don't know what season you'd use that for, but I could see that. See if there's anything else that... Sorry. Talk amongst yourself. Oh, I like this little lamb. I thought that'd be really cool, like around Easter. Oops. This little basket. Even if you just did the basket itself for a little pin pillow. But all for 99 cents. So that came home with me. But that's not the thing I was most excited about. I saw this and I knew right away what I wanted to do with it. So it's a lamp, no shade or anything, but think about stitching something and putting it in this recess area. So, and on this side is a rooster. I think that could be really cool. So I'm like, it was $2.99. It did not have the light bulb in, and I didn't know for sure that it was going to work, but it did. And I think that's going to really be a cool thing. So I'll have to measure up the space and then figure out, you know, count a fabric and what charts might fit on there. So I'd probably do something everyday-ish. Or else, I mean, really, you could do something seasonal and then pop them out for, you know, 4 seasons. There I am again, going down the seasonal route. This is kind of my experimentation. So I was watching how they Mod Podged, and I did a Mod Podge egg last year for Easter. But I found these cute, I don't know if you can see, Beatrix Potter napkins that we used for Easter, and I wanted to try a different technique. Last year when I made a paper mache egg, I cut out an oval of the stitching and left that pretty big and Mod Podge some fabric or paper all over the egg. And so the stitching piece was fairly big, like maybe about that big. But I wanted to try a different technique where I used the SF-101 on the back and then trimmed it really close. And I think it works pretty good. Now in hindsight, like I Mod Podged some of the other motifs on. You know, my colors aren't the greatest match, but I had the two things and I'm like, oh, I visualize a basket full of these Easter kind of eggs. But I think, you know, I wouldn't be afraid to try something. I wanted to try something really, a quick stitch in case it like all raveled, but I don't think it will. And actually, I mean, as long as you have a sharp scissors, I think that's really makes a big difference in cutting those kinds of things. I once, years ago, and it was Leanne who gave me the idea because she had seen it like in a parade of homes, but it was where you took a wallpaper border and dropped it down a couple inches and it was a floral. So I cut like all the different around the leaves and the blossoms, and I mean, it took me a long time to cut it out, but it turned out beautiful. Then the ceiling was like green. I mean, it sounds atrocious now, but it was, you know, probably the 90s. So it really was pretty, but cutting around those shapes, it was just very intricate and kind of fun though. It turned out really cool. I don't have a picture or I would show it to you. So then I did get my April wordplay done. I'm not thrilled about these ribbons, so I'll be changing that out, but I changed some of the colors, not all the colors, but I really like it. I wanted to include where I put the little daffodils was supposed to be like white squigglies, and I didn't think my white showed up enough. And so I'm like, oh, I have this little motif book that someone was giving away at StitchCon that I grabbed right away. And so I found that little tulip shape on, it was part of an Easter egg or something. And so I thought that looked really cute there. And just used some fabric that I had left, and I think it's bright and cheery without being jump in your face. I mean, it's definitely brighter than the called for colors, but I like it. So I am officially a third done with the series. Spend a minute or two talking about what I plan to do now. Middle of April. So I'm starting to realize I do like to stitch for the upcoming season, and I don't mind stitching out of season if I'm getting close to it, but when I start seeing everyone's what they're working on, I'm like, yeah, I want to work on that stuff too. So I'm done with spring and moving on to summer. I have a couple charts that I want to do, and these are quickies. Little House Needleworks Summer Band Sampler, and hopefully that's not too much of a glare. I probably will change out some of the colors on this. I have winter done, and winter is the one that really, it called to me just as it was. I mean, the colors are really pretty, and it had a simple black frame that it was cheapy, but it looked nice enough. Like, you couldn't tell it was cheap until you touched it. But my husband knocked it off the wall, and it broke. And so I had seen someone do a finish where they finished all four together as like a block. And I'm like, I think that's what I'm going to try and do, as long as my frame I have for them is broken anyways. And this is stuff that I started, you know, probably 2 years ago, so I want to get it done. Well, I didn't even start it, but I got the charts. Summer ABCs. This will be the last one that I have to do, and then I'll be done with that series. And I've been looking at people who have made it more patriotic. Instead of apples, they put America, and some of them have stars at the top. I think maybe that's the route I'll go. But, you know, gives it a much more patriotic feel. So I will be working on that shortly. And then I foolishly, sorry Teresa, I don't really mean that, but I think some of our early charts were much more full coverage. And I looked at this, and that red is supposed to be all stitches, and I'm like, I'm gonna outsmart that one, and I'll buy red fabric. So I have 36 count Aztec red, which I love, but then I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, but you still have everything that's full coverage inside that little gold border area. So I think it's still going to be a lot of stitching. I think for sure I'm not going to put those sheep in. And I'm not certain about that big bunny either. I don't know, looks like he's on is he on a skateboard? I don't know. But then I don't know if it'll look too bare. But I really like the guy. I probably could move the birdhouse down a little bit to fill in that space. So we'll see. I'll stitch Uncle Sam first, and then we'll see how it looks and what updates I can make. The other things, I started this one last year. Happy Flag Flag Day. I hate my fabric. I'm going to start it over. I thought it'd be quick, and the fabric was awful, and no, it wasn't. Land That I Love. Heart and Hand. I have some little things that I'm going to use to finish these, so I kind of want to get a couple little small things done. Strawberries and Stripes by Brenda Gervais. I've got the Waxy Moon Designs Patriotic House Trio. I was thinking I should probably stitch some of the quick ones first, just to make some progress and I'll feel better. I still have this Country Cottage Needleworks Bless Our Home, which so many people stitch, you know, like right when I got back into cross stitch. I still think it's cute. I don't know. Not sure I'm gonna stitch it. We'll see. And then I forget who it was that had this stitched, and I did a little digging and I did find it. So I wanted to stitch this. It was really cute. And this is another freebie. These colors don't run. I'll show the chart just because free. I wouldn't ordinarily do that. And here's another one. Happy 4th of July. And I think, let's see. Oh yeah, it has the little banner that goes underneath the words. I'm going to do, I don't have the chart, but it's not Where Liberty Dwells. It's the other one from Brenda Gervais that has Uncle Sam and Lady Liberty on it with some stars, 1776. So I want to stitch that. I have Patriotic Series number 4. I'll just show this really quick because it was a PDF. I don't think I have a picture. I think I printed that off. By Sub Rosa Designs. And then, as so many of you have, I have the Sweet Land of Liberty Blackbird Designs book. Honestly, like, I love all of these. But I think I might start with this one, Sweet Land of Liberty. Although that's another house. But I think that maybe would go quicker. This one I love too, American Eagle. And this other one, until I saw someone stitching it, it never really spoke to me, but then Salute to Abigail. I forget who it was that was stitching this. And the colors were just so pretty, and it just gave me a new appreciation for it, which is, you know, nice when you are able to go in and see these things stitched up. Liberty Rose is pretty too, but that'll probably be one of the last ones I do. But yeah, I love all of them. So, all right, so lots of 4th of July stitching. what else has been going on? Oh, yard work has started. The battle of Barb versus the deer has started. They always are getting into my tulips, and those haven't even bloomed yet, and they've been bothersome. But my husband set up a trail cam so we can watch when they're out there. And so the other day, the deer off stuff that I had sprayed them with must have been working, because they kind of took a little saunter down the driveway and kind of were going for that bed, and then like sniffed and then kept going. So I'm like, yay! What else happened? Oh, Easter. Easter was such a beautiful, beautiful day here in the Midwest. It couldn't have been more perfect. And so that allowed us to have outside fun with our daughter and her family. Came with her and her husband came with the 4 kids, and usually I decorate a lamb cake, and I was gonna do one. I had a theme picked out, and then I thought, oh, last year I had made 2 of them, and I dropped one off for them, the kids, to decorate themselves, because they really like doing that kind of stuff. And I thought, why don't I just let them decorate this year, and we won't really have a theme, and they'll just have fun doing that. So I decided I was going to name it, instead of Scramble It Up, it was Scramble It Up. That's a little bit of a stretch, but. And then the other thing I saw on Pinterest is where you built like little Easter houses they could decorate, and you took those strawberry wafers, the rectangular ones, and you use those for the wall and the roof, and you glue them together with like white melting chocolate. So I did that part before they got there, and then I had little bowls of miscellaneous candy, like the Easter M&Ms, and of course the mini Cadbury chocolate eggs, and I don't know, a couple other things, some fruit snacks and whatever. And so they each had those to decorate, and they had fun. I'll put a picture of the culinary fun at the bottom, or at the end of the video. And yeah. I had piping bags because I thought they would enjoy that, and I was helping the 3-year-old pipe like on the head of the lamb, and I had the piping bags for the other 2 all twisted up so that they could, you know, just go to town with them. But I forgot to explain to them the premise of, like, you have to keep it twisted so that your frosting doesn't come out the top. So all of a sudden I hear, Bobby, that's my grandma name, you know, look, and like the frosting is oozing out of the top. So I'm getting that figured out with them, and get it kind of cleaned up, retwisted, explain that you have to hold it twisted and press down. And the 5-year-old goes to, like, I thought he was gonna keep working on it, and I hadn't looked at his chair. He goes to sit down, and all of a sudden I hear my husband and son-in-law yelling, Dawson! Well, he sits down, and there's this big blob of frosting on his chair, which I did not know about. So that was pretty comical. So the chair ended up getting hosed off, and we cleaned his pants as well as we could. But just, yeah, it was just a fun day, and I'm kind of ahead of the game. We got a pallet full of mulch, which is 68 bags, in case you're interested. And so I have that all spread already, and I feel like I'm ahead of the curve, but, you know, yard work always keeps happening in summer, but it is fun to get back out there and see things popping up and getting on to new life. So when you guys were providing answers for which of the charts you wanted. I was amazed at how many of you put them in like a sentence or a thought. I would have never thought to do that, and I'm sure, you know, some of you spent a little time coming up with your little sentences, so it was quite the creative experience, and like I was just expecting the word, so kudos to you all. But I decided, like last year, I would like someone to join me in stitching the 2021 Prairie Schooler Santa. So I'd like to send this chart to someone. So I guess since it says Winter Woods, if you're interested in entering the drawing for this one, it's got like a, is that a fox or a wolf? An owl, a raccoon. We saw some raccoons on the trail cam the other night, sniffing around the back garden. A bird, is that a, I'm not good at birds. I don't know what it is. Maybe a quail? I don't know. Yeah. Well, animals. And speaking of animals, I had more animal repair. I felt like I had a zoo come to me. Various stuffed animals that required stitching up. So I had quite the menagerie going. Minnie Mouse and, I don't know, a monkey with a hat, and you know, all these little holes that had stuffing escaping out of them. So got the pile done. They're ready to go back. Minnie's pretty big, so I think we should take her home soon. But they can join Honey Bunny. So anyways, back to this. If you're interested in stitching Winter Woods, please leave a comment, and then at my next video I'll let you know who will be doing it with me. It's kind of fun to have someone stitch along with. Well, I think this is going to be longer than I thought it was going to be. So let's end it right now. Yeah. All I can say is continue to fill the world with love, and we'll see you all next time, and hopefully we'll be able to get those charts out. Bye-bye.